Okay, so for the final project in this class, we are going to be doing our self-portraits. So you don't have to do a self-portrait, but it helps because that was the first thing that we did at the beginning of the trimester. So I'm going to show you a quick trick when you are drawing a face. Any faces, a lot of people tend to, when you're drawing a face, a lot of people tend to put their eyes like up here, you know. That's your forehead. You don't want to put your eyes up there. So when you're drawing your face, you break it down into a circle. This is how I do it. There's several ways you can do it. You can do a circle and then an oval shape, or you can just start off with an oval kind of egg shape. But then you divide, zoom in on it here. You divide the shape down the middle and then in half. So in this shape, where this line here meets your circle, that's where your middle is, and so then here it'd be the same. It's in the middle. So you divide it in half like this, half it in half, and then halfway between this line and then the bottom, which is your chin, it's going to be about your nose, okay? And then a third of the way from the nose down is the mouth, and then you have your chin. So when you're drawing eyes, your eyes are typically the same distance apart as they are wide. So if I'm looking at a picture of myself and I try to measure with my pencil, I measure my eye from here to here, I'm about, from that, my eye width is exactly the same distance apart, and on the sides too. It's fascinating, really. Okay, so then you have that, and then your nose is about here, and then your mouth. Now in this picture I'm smiling, you can see my teeth. Teeth are really hard to draw, so try to pick a picture where you can't see your mouth, or you can, excuse me, you can't see your teeth. You don't want to draw your teeth, it's not fun. But now see, you're like, wait, it looks like you have a huge forehead. Well, we've got eyebrows. This is a crazy looking face right now. But depending on your forehead, you have hair that comes down, correct? Okay, so that's something you have to take into consideration. And then your ears are from your eyes to your nose down. See where the top of my ear, bottom of my ear is here. And when you're drawing your mouth, you look at the corner of my mouth when I'm smiling lines up with the center of my eye. Right here. And on this side. And my nose lines up with the inside of my eyes. So everything can be calculated. You don't just have to try to guess how you're going to do this. Every part that you're drawing can be totally calculated. And honestly, when I'll start with a basic shape of a head, but then I will definitely have to go in and redraw the actual, like make it longer where I need to, curve things out where I need to. And I usually do that second to last after I've gotten in my basic shapes and everything. Okay, so I'm going to work on this. I'm going to draw my face. I'm going to speed it up so you don't have to sit and watch me draw it, and I'm going to do it on a different piece of paper. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do it, and you can watch and hopefully figure it out too. Okay, so as I'm drawing this myself, as you draw yourself, you will be like, you'll notice there's things about yourself you don't like. For me, it's always been my teeth, and teeth are the hardest thing to draw. So you can see, I'm like, what? This just looks terrible. I look like I have giant teeth. So You can take a picture where you're not smiling, I mean, where you're smiling but not smiling with your teeth showing, or, I don't know, I'm gonna figure out how to draw this so it looks better, because normally I just don't draw them. That's my way around it, because I don't like them. So, but I want to show you guys how I do this, how I am struggling right now. I'm like, this doesn't look like me. It doesn't, but yeah, so you start off with, okay, so I started off, I got my good outline here, I've got a good contour line drawing going. Now I've got my blending stump, and this is where it's going to come to life. I've got my blending stump, so I'm going to start going in and adding my shadows. I'm going to turn my picture black and white first. I'm just going to go to edit and do black and white. That way I can see my values better and see like so my eyes are pretty dark and the shadows and the stuff around. I'm not going to do all the detail around my scarf, but I definitely want to get shadows in. And you can see when I turn it black and white that my teeth don't have like these really sharp lines around them. So I think that's how I can work around this, but I'll do those later. So I'm going to start shading and using my blending stump to blend my values and hopefully solve this teeth problem. I don't like it. Okay, so this is not an easy thing to do. Drawing yourself is very hard. I can see where things are a little bit off, like right here. Needs to be up a little higher or something. I kind of drew it more at an angle. Yeah, so did you see how I solved the problem of the teeth? Okay. So instead of drawing the individual teeth, like outlining each individual piece like I started doing, which just looks very scary, I utilized negative space. The negative space is the space around. So I'm looking at my picture and I can see how dark it is here, and then how the teeth, just the shape that's around them on the outside, and then to lightly shade where my gums are on the top, just using my blending stump. And that gives me the impression of teeth without going in and drawing each individual tooth. Because when you do that, then it just puts too much emphasis on them, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so next is hair. I'm going to show you really quickly how to do hair. You want to look at where you have highlights. So my hair here is lighter here and darker here, and the different values. And so I'm just going to put in lines and then put in my values, and then I'll go in and I'll erase the highlights. Now, if you have curly hair or different coarse hair, or any kind of whatever your hair is, there's lots of different ways that you can draw it. So for coarse hair or curly hair, curly hair, like if it's wavy, just kind of look at what you've got and see where the highlights are, because even my hair is straight, you can see it's brighter here and darker in places. So if you've got like this curly hair, you're going to see where the highlights are, and it'll be darker here and lighter here, and so on. If you have coarse or curly hair, doing scribbles like this could be implied texture, and you can, the closer together, the darker it is, the further apart it is, the lighter it is for your highlights. So that is something that you can do too. And make sure that you're attempting, like little corkscrews, make sure you're attempting to make your hair look as much as like yours as you can. So also, your skin is not the color of the paper. Even if you are as pale as I am, I still have values that are darker than the paper. So I've been using my blending stump to kind of lay down, and I use my finger to blend it out as well. And I can go in and I can use my kneaded eraser to kind of pull out some more highlights and blend where I need to. So that is something that you really need to pay attention to as well. If you have darker skin, you definitely need to make yourself have darker skin. Be proud of it. Get it in there. Use that blending stump. Use your 6B, your 4B. There's the softer lead. I'm using the 4B to put down the shadow. That helps it. It's softer, so you can blend it easier. Okay? Oops, wrong end. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do my hair. I'm gonna get some lines in there and try to make this look a little bit more like me. It's not easy, guys. And so it's okay if you struggle, because I've been doing this for a long time, and today's not an easy day. Sometimes days are easier to draw, sometimes days are harder, and today for me is a harder day. This is taking me longer than it normally would. So, okay, even the art teacher has problems, so I can't wait to see what you guys are doing. Let's do hair and get on with it. Okay, it's getting there. It's starting to look a little bit more like me. It is pretty crazy how just a little bit of shadow somewhere can make a huge difference in whether or not it looks like you or someone else. I got some fun hair going on here too. It's like, I wish it looked like this all the time. You can see that I put a shadow here because there is a slight shadow in my picture. I did this, and it gives it a lot of depth. It looks like there is hair shadowing my face. You can see that. It really pulls parts of it, the picture, forward and pushes the other parts back. And here's specifically really dark because that's behind my head. So make sure you really shade in these areas where you see the shadows, okay? So I'm probably going to play with this some more and go back and forth and whatever and whatnot, but that's the basic idea of what I want you guys to do and how to break it down. When you're drawing hair, just really quick, I like to do these kind of wispies. My hair is blonde in this picture, so you can't really draw the white lines on there, so I can use my eraser I have here to kind of erase in the shadows and kind of mimic some hair. Or some lines of hair, or I can go in and I can just kind of lightly put in a few wispies and things. Like, see, I erased some here. But totally up to you how you decide to do that, because that's how I do it. So I hope this has helped you guys to show you I draw them too. They aren't the easiest things to do, but it sure teaches you. That's why I make you guys do the value sphere and do all the different value scales and look at things and draw from them, so you can really get more realistic, more successful pictures, drawings based on all the different values and stuff that you can put into it. You can see my bright whites and my dark darks, and it all comes together to make a pretty decent drawing. So I can't wait to see how your guys turn out.